All right, folks, thank you for joining me here on a Friday night live. Let me share this one out far and wide, and let's get ourselves a little party started. Live for the night. If you're looking to have a good time talking about current events, the financial markets, and taking advantage of the greatest transfer of wealth in world history, you have made it to the right place. All right, and that is shared out. Here we go. Let's get it rocking and rolling, guys. What do you say? Running a few minutes behind, and we had to go a little bit late here tonight. My apologies. But we're going to get a party started nonetheless. About 8 o'clock on the West Coast, wherever you're tuning in from. Let me know in the chat where we're tuning in from tonight, and let's get it rocking and rolling. Now, if you are looking to get interested in tapping into our private group, we are going to be having our weekly call at our normal time tomorrow. So anybody who is inside of the Patreon Discord group, the weekly call tomorrow is taking place at our normal time of 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. An opportunity for those who want to get in touch with me, ask me questions directly, and get my exclusive weekly update. That's all over at my website, ZachRector.com. Sign up with the Patreon to get access to the Discord group. And with that being said, go check out the new website. ZachRector.com has been updated, has all of our resources for crypto exchanges, wallets. If you're looking to get in touch with me, that's the only place to do it. I'm no longer responding to any social media messages, DMs, none of that, because the scammers are running rampant. Let's get our quick disclaimer out of the way. I'm not here to give you financial advice, tax, or legal. I encourage folks to get relationships with these professionals. And I'm just the guy here on YouTube who's going to tell you how I'm navigating the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. But if you are new here, I encourage you to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our updates. We're dropping multiple updates per day, going live a few times a week. And I don't have a lockdown schedule, but I'm going to bring you content on a daily basis to show you how we can ride out this storm. That's the message, that's the program, and that's the mission. Now, so much to cover here in tonight's update, a exciting Friday. The markets are pumping, and as I titled this session, Insiders Pumping Crypto. As always, I'm going to keep it simple tonight. We're going to run through it. We got a lot to cover, so I'm going to get right on into it. I appreciate everyone for stopping by. If you haven't already, it really helps us when you smash it, tap it, hit that thumbs up, and let's get it rocking and rolling. Back to 37,000 for our Bitcoin. And let me refresh that just to make sure. Yeah, 37,000 for Bitcoin, 2,047 for Ethereum, and XRP at 6,492. We see that the overall cryptocurrency market cap is at 1.4 trillion. So the overall cryptocurrency market cap back up as we have insiders pumping crypto. If you look at the FTT token, which is the FTX token, after Gary Gensler gives us a little comment on FTX potentially getting fired back up again, sure enough, the FTT token, which is the FTX token, pumps. And it's gone up about 400%. I'll show you the charts here right now. Bitcoin going back up to 38,000, and that was on Thursday. And then Friday here, we just finished this thing off at about 37,000. And we start a new candle here for Saturday, November 11th. Watching this on the daily chart right now, you see Ethereum off of the news that BlackRock has filed an application for a spot Ethereum ETF. And then we see, it's chilling out right now at about 2,050. Ethereum, getting a little bit of life, and picking up here. Pretty interesting. All the way up to 2,100. Surpassing 2,100 for Ethereum. XRP, right, did its pump up to 73 cents, but it's been cooling off ever since. And I tell you what, today, the comments on my YouTube videos earlier, it's like, folks think that I'm saying that XRP is going to the moon tomorrow. And they're all mad. And of course, the haters are showing up too, right? The Bitcoin bro. And I kind of poke the bear. I poke the Bitcoin bros. And so they show up and they're like, man, and even XRP holders, though, I'm seeing it in the comments, and they're saying, all my other coins are going up, but my XRP's not going up. Well, that's not true. Actually, if you look at the chart, it's up significantly, right? And yeah, it's not up right now, but it's set to absolutely explode if you understand what's at play here. But I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. If you've lost faith, then I guess I've failed at my message. But at the end of the day, I'm not here to save anyone. I'm just here to share what I'm doing. I'm not a financial advisor. And so if you think that you're truly going to make better returns somewhere else, then go do that and come back to my comment section and let me know what play you made. I'd love to know. For those that want to give up faith now and they want to move out of this investment, and I'm talking all the suppressed assets, XRP, silver, gold, and all that, that's fine. Let me know what the play is. And that's the whole situation at hand here, is it's a flight to quality, it's a flight to safety, and we're in the middle of a narrative that I've been calling out. And yet folks are coming at me in the comments like I'm trying to say that this pump is going to last forever, that this is the next bull run, the XRP is about to go to all-time high next week. You know, I've shared some other charts of other people that suggest things like that. For me, I think that the next bull run does begin sometime between now and next year. And I think I'm leaning towards next year. I'm leaning towards a Fed pivot completed and them starting to cut interest rates. But I've been warning about a black swan event between now and then. And sure enough, we get the Israel-Gaza conflict picking up. The war's picking up. We have a new Speaker of the House, but now, you know, the chaos in DC is only going to ramp up from here during our election cycle. And as I showed you guys, the last 3 crashes have taken place during an election cycle. And cryptocurrency is a risk-on asset until it gets real-world utility, which doesn't happen until we get regulations. And so, like, in the meantime, if you can go trade and make a bag, that's fine. You guys know me. I've been making my bag shorting Bitcoin. and all I do is focus on my businesses. I know you can get a better return than what we've got on XRP so far. I mean, I've done well on XRP, right? I mean, even where we're at right now, many of us are still in profit, but I've made a lot more money in my business and the investments that I've made in myself. And so I'm not here to stop anyone, right? I'm encouraging folks to cut through the BS BlackRock Bitcoin spot ETF. Now we got Ethereum with the spot ETF narrative. And then we get the Gary Gensler gang pulling up today, and they say the FTX might be revived. FTT token pumps and goes to the moon. And it shows and reiterates the point that this crypto space is immature. It's really immature. It's not just, you know, FTT token pumping and meme coins, right? It's able to be manipulated so easily. So the beautiful thing about crypto is we ripped the Band-Aid off. We got absolutely killed already, but we're in a macroeconomic situation where there's the equities market, the bond market has finally been crashing, but the equity market, your stocks, is just now finally starting to correct. But as you've seen over the past week, stocks rallied off of the Fed decision to pause rates once again, and everybody's trying to call the Fed bluff. But the problem is if you understand inflation, this isn't going away. And we're already in a recession by some metrics. The data is already abysmal. By many metrics, people are already getting killed. So if we don't meet the technical definition of a recession based off of phony, fake, manipulated data, that point is irrelevant. Because when it was a technical recession last year in 2022, it was politically incorrect to call it one. So now that we have 4.9% GDP, yeah, okay. And I wanted to share a story with you guys. One of the reasons why I was running a little bit late here tonight is it was chaos in our house with the fam, and we had to order in some pizza because we, didn't have time to cook dinner tonight. And I wanted to share this with you guys because this is insane. Can you believe that they're trying to tell us that inflation is at 3.7%? So we need dinner. So we call up and order pizza in, right? We order one large pizza, one 8-piece thing of wings, and one Caesar salad. $60. Plus, you got to tip the driver, right? Give him a little tip, give him a little something for the hustle. I mean, what is going on here? I remember the days of the $5 hot and ready from Little Caesars. I mean, you're feeding the fam with 2 or 3 pizzas for 10 to 15 bucks. Now, one pizza, 8-piece wings, and a salad, $60. What are we talking? 20 bucks per item? I mean, I'm sure there was a fee. They pull a fee out of everything now, It's just insane. Let me know what you guys think about this inflation, because I think this is insane. $60 to order one pizza and a salad with some wings in? What are we doing? This is insanity. And so they want to tell us that inflation's at 3.7%. They want to act like they're putting up a fight. They're going to fail against that fight. And the markets, for the most part, even big institutional money, you're seeing folks that are piling into losing trades, in my opinion, because even when you look at the bonds, when you look at a lot of these equities right now, they're due for a historical correction in the equities. And for the bonds, your real rate of return is not that good. And even on your stocks, if you think that you're making 5% or 10% on your stock portfolio and you should worship your financial advisor and your money manager who returned you 8%, you're barely breaking even. I mean, what's the real opportunity cost that you're putting up with that capital? And so I want to get that rant off my chest because I read the comments today and it's all these people losing faith, losing conviction, getting impatient. And I have sympathy. It's a bear market recession that I've not tried to hide from. It's not popular. It's not clickbait. I have to put insiders pumping crypto to get folks here so that I can give them the real stuff. Because my only goal is to be able to say, I put this content down on record. I put it down here for everyone to see, and I can say that I did everything that I, in my power and my ability to try to reach as many people as possible. Because not everybody's going to get on the right side of this transfer of wealth. That's the whole thing about the meme, is everybody wants to talk about making generational wealth. Everybody wants a participation trophy, but that's not how this new normal is going to work. In fact, the new normal squeezes out and tries to eliminate that opportunity for so many. We're fighting for the level playing field, and I saw a lot of people commenting in regards to the ETF video that I did earlier today too. They're saying that we don't want the ETF, we don't want the manipulation. And that's fine, I get that. But if you listened in the video, I talked about how we need to move to a level playing field where the derivatives, where the ETFs are actually shown, the reserves are shown, the commodity, the asset, that whatever it is that's backing that derivative, that's backing that ETF can be shown on blockchain. This is all part of the level playing field. And so, yeah, and we've seen gold and silver have been completely suppressed through derivatives. And so I get why folks are hesitant, and I'm not going to be telling my grandma to invest in the XRP ETF. If my grandma wants to get some XRP, we'll get her some XRP. I'm not going to be telling my family to go, or anybody I know, to invest in the ETF. But the point of the ETF is that it's going to bring more money trying to get exposure to the asset class. And I'm going to show you guys a little bit later in today's show what happened to gold after the first original gold ETFs were actually put in. So once again, a lot to cover here tonight. The markets are already moving back up again here today with insiders pumping crypto. But let me be very clear that I'm remaining very patient. I'm not getting too excited yet. And maybe this is the next, bull run beginning, but I'm remaining very patient and careful, cautious with capital on the sidelines. Because we did this during 2019. We did a 342% bull trap rally. Now, it's not popular to bring this back up. Nobody wants to hear this because everybody needs money. It's not that just that they want crypto to go up so they can make a little bit of money. No, we need money. I need money. I can't believe I just shelled out $60 to get a pizza and a salad with some wings. What? I need money too. So I feel you. And I have sympathy for it. But this is all part of the shakeout. This is all part of the collapse that's being done by design, and we are already in the middle of it. I know a lot of folks have been debating whether or not the collapse is here, whether some crash is going to happen. No, we're in it. This is the end. This is the end of the system as we know it. Is it the end of the world? Well, I hope not. But hey, God willing, we're going to be able to survive this time, and we'll see where it takes us. This is the end of the system as we know it. This is the system breaking, getting confirmed here this week with nobody showing up to buy our bonds. The auction didn't fail, but it dang near did. So let's get real, right? And let's cut through the BS narrative, and let's not think that BlackRock's going to announce to us that the ETF's here and they're going to send crypto to the moon. What they're doing right now is they're actually offline. I'm going to show you guys that later too. Larry Fink selling off about 15,000 shares, about $10 million worth of BlackRock, his own company. So they use crypto, They use the spot ETF filing to pump their bags, to pump their stock. And Larry Fink and a lot of these CEOs are actually offloading their stocks right now. And they're hitting the exits. And they're hoping that they don't get caught for the crimes and the manipulation that they were a part of. That's the whole gang that we're up against. That's what's pumping crypto today, is it's the manipulation gang. And I'm going to show you. Without further ado, let's run it up. I have so much to cover here tonight. I better not rant too long. Buy yourself one pepperoni. XRP, there's the 5 spot. Yeah, 5 spot used to be able to get you that hot and ready. What can a 5 spot get you now? I mean, what does a 5 spot get you? Can you get a Happy Meal for $5 anymore? I don't know if you can. I think a large fry at McDonald's is like $4, right? What can you get for $5 anymore? It's crazy. Let's get it rocking and rolling, folks. So right now, here we go. Let's get it started. To reiterate my point about inflation, you've been seeing that the prices on all of these things, I forget what it was. There's just been all this crazy stuff. Lemons, melons. There was I forget what it was. Today it's coca. Coca at a 45-year high for the first time since 1978. Coca futures prices soared above 4,000. Now, this is what's happening with all the commodities, is that they're just getting jacked up. Remember what happened last year with the nickel market? The nickel futures went absolutely ballistic, and they had to shut down the entire London exchange after that happened. It shut down the whole system. And we continue to see it here every week. It's a new commodity that just goes ballistic. It just goes to the moon. I guess that's what we need to start trading. And here's the thing. Even for what we're paying for, your cost of inflation, the real cost of inflation is through the roof. We talk about energy prices being so crucial to that. And the systems that we rely on, we're paying the highest prices ever, but they might not even work. And in fact, they're most likely not going to work. What am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about this article right here from Zero Hedge. They ask, is it time for a generator? New warning says half of U.S. at risk of grid down this winter. Now, folks make fun of me for my offline assets, for my blackout barter. And we're called crazy preppers just because we put a little extra food in the pantry, right? Just because we get a little cash, just because we get a little precious metal, just because we have a little freedom seeds and a little garden and we pray. Golly. Actually, where I'm at right now is getting hit by a storm. I was going to say this, actually. Hopefully, we're able to get through this live show tonight because we are getting hit by a little bit of a storm right now. Now, up in the Pacific Northwest, the storm for us is very soft. It's very mild, and we're all very, very soft. We're all snowflakes up here in the Pacific Northwest. Compared to the rest of the world, Iceland actually I didn't even pull it up here, but Iceland just declared a state of emergency. They were hit by, what was it, hundreds of earthquakes? Hundreds of earthquakes here recently, maybe even thousands. It's just insane. And they're now warning of a volcanic eruption to take place here now too. But this article from Zero Hedge, like, this is what we've been talking about in our private community. I talk more about prepping and that type of stuff with the private group because prepping content doesn't really sell. I can't put out prepping content, right? I need to put out crypto pumping in the title. But this is what I've been really trying to warn folks about, is that from the ground up, from basic essentials all the way to the investments, the 10 baggers that we're trying to go get, right? The gains that we're trying to go get. The gains won't matter if you can't feed the family when the lights go out, when you can't keep the family warm when the systems go down, when you can't make a transaction when the systems go down. It's the whole reason why we stack it. Blackout barter. The gains are going to be incredible. Sure. Fantastic. But there's no counterparty risk. And whether the sun comes up tomorrow or not, I can use it. And now they're warning about a big solar eclipse is about to hit too next month, I think, is what the story they're running with now. They always find a story. It'll be, UFOs, this, that, they always got something up their sleeve, and they're always going to blame somebody else, just like they blamed China this week for the ransomware attack that crashed the treasury market. No, there was no ransomware attack. It's just nobody wants to buy your crap. That's what's taking place, is nobody wants to buy U.S. government bonds because nobody wants to do a deal with the devil anymore. Now, let's continue on. We have so much to cover here. No impeachment of Joe Biden. This was just coming out here today. This is breaking. Speaker of the House and Republican Mike Johnson just announced that due to lack of evidence, no impeachment against Joe Biden will take place. Quote, in a private meeting with moderates this week, the new speaker appeared to agree with members who argued that since Biden's polling numbers have been weaker, there is less of a political imperative to impeach him. 1. Is there truly no evidence of an impeachable offense? 2. Have the speaker and the Biden administration cut a backroom deal? No impeachment in exchange for what? And that is exactly how the game is played, and that's exactly how the DC dance is done. So, Mr. Mike Johnson, someone who gave us a little bit of hope, we remain cautious as he approached Speaker of the House because he said some things that were okay, a little exciting. But then sure enough, we go with the softball now. We go with the play along. I pat your back, you pat my back, and maybe we do some other things behind closed doors because these folks have been completely exposed to be corrupt to the core. And they've been exposed. It's so far past the point of the subpoenas that got issued this last week for the crime family I won't dare mention, but that's long overdue. The subpoena for Gary Gensler still hasn't been issued. And now we have another reason to subpoena Gary Gensler after today's manipulation as well. Now, this situation's got so bad that the bought and paid for ratings agency known as Moody's, the same ratings agency that kept everything propped up during the great financial crisis, yeah, that same Moody's that you saw in The Big Short when he went to the companies here, the ratings agencies. This Moody's, this is how you know it's getting bad. Cuts U.S. credit outlook from stable to negative. The reasons for the cut: downside risks to U.S. fiscal strength have increased, fiscal deficits to remain very large, debt affordability to be significantly weakened. Since the debt ceiling crisis ended, and it never really did end, remember, we're coming up and facing another shutdown on November 17th. Since the debt ceiling crisis, quote unquote, ended, the S&P has downgraded U.S. credit ratings and now Moody's cut their outlook. And that would be Standard & Poor's. Sorry, I should clarify that. That's another ratings agency, right? Standard & Poor's has downgraded U.S. credit ratings, and now Moody's cut their outlook. These are bought and paid for corrupt ratings agencies, as was proven during the Great Financial Crisis. All as interest rates are soaring and the U.S. issues trillions of dollars in debt. Warning signs are everywhere, but no one is listening. What's the long-term plan here? To me, it looks like a demolition of what's taking place in D.C., what's taking place with our bond market, what's taking place with our dollar, what's taking place with our equities, with our real estate. And like I said, crypto's already been killed. That's the good thing about crypto is it gets liquidated so quickly. And so it's been absolutely cleaned out, but yet the stock market rallies. And I think that a lot of folks are going to get caught holding a bag that they don't want to keep holding, as we're about to see a historic correction come in for the traditional financial market. This is the point right here. Since July, the S&P 500 had been doing nothing but hitting lower highs and lower lows. That appears to be over as the strength of the last 2 weeks has propelled the S&P to not only recapture all of its critical moving averages, but hit a higher high. So the S&P 500 may have potentially broken out. We may have started, we may very well have started that next bull run if everybody is starting to front run that Fed pivot. Now, the problem, the real problem here is if the Fed even wants to stand a chance against fighting inflation, they have to keep them higher for longer. And I would make the case that if they really want to fight inflation, if they even want to have a chance, they have to raise even further. I don't think that they've broken the system enough. I think that it's already, broke and kind of faltering, and they've done some damage. But as you are seeing right now, we have strong employment data, which, look in the details, it's not really that great, but it just shows you that there's still plenty of activity. And what it's doing, what this wealth transfer is doing, is it's a slow bleed out. Everybody's been waiting for the big crash, for 10 days of darkness. Well, we've been getting 3 years of darkness ever since this situation in 2020 began. That's the real situation, right? And they've been able to keep this thing propped up. And these markets have been propped up artificially through new ways that a lot of people are overlooking. We literally don't even really understand and haven't even put it into context all of the different government programs and bailouts and student loan forgiveness that, you know, they've tried to push through, the mortgage moratoriums, the no evictions, participation trophy for everybody, i.e. stimulus, right? We're still calculating it with reverse repo at all-time high. So on the back end of the banking system, they've had to inject more liquidity than ever before to keep the thing afloat. Janet, No-Tail, and Yellen had to show up during the banking crisis of March and say that, yes, if you're systemically important, we will save you. If you're not systemically important, we don't care if you get sacrificed. And we just carried on. And folks, you know, are still waiting for the crash. No, we are in it. This is the slow bleed out of America. Through inflation, and through asset prices not actually, you know, probably correcting as much as they should, because people want to put their money somewhere and they're trying to find any sort of yield or return that they can. Just to break even, they're happy. I.e. why folks are still excited as can be to go buy a 5% bond. Because at least you're breaking even if we roll with the CPI lie data. But let's continue on here, folks. We're going to go right into the crypto update right now. This is the type of manipulation that I've been talking about, folks. If you haven't already, please smash this one. Please share it out far and wide and let everyone know we're getting the crypto update started right now. We're rocking and rolling. We got a lot to cover here still. You're going to like this one. Cheers, everyone. We covered it yesterday, another billion printed at the Tether treasury. We get another billion coming in today. So sure enough, they come in and they're keeping this thing propped up. We're on Tether watch right here. Last 24-hour market cap went up by 205 million and USDC went down by 205 million-ish. Feel free to tell me who would have, out of their own free will, poured 200 million into Tether within a day. When they've never done an audit, and with USDC, you know where the money is. Bitcoin up $900 in the last 24 hours, and Ethereum as well. And then you also saw FTT, the FTX token, go as well. And that's a great point. Who in their right mind would pour $200 million into Tether after we just heard Senator Cynthia Lummis say that we should go after Tether and try to prosecute them criminally? We're going to refer it to the Department of Justice to go after Binance and to go after Tether. And yet we get $200 million entering Tether. And over the last 2 days, we've seen $2 billion printed at the Tether treasury, probably even more. That's just 2 data points that I've collected over yesterday and today. And sure enough, the manipulation gang has arrived with their main cheerleader, the main protector of the incumbents, the main good guy for Goldman Sachs and the gang. And that would, of course, be Gary Gensler. Scott Melker, the Wolf of All Streets, shares that Gary Gensler pumped FTT over 100% with a single comment about FTX yesterday. He crashed multiple altcoins by passively deeming them unregistered securities in enforcement actions against various platforms. No human being has manipulated the price of crypto assets more than the very cop on the beat who is responsible for protecting investors. And yes, Scott, the damages are absolutely massive. And I actually pulled up the FTT chart here today, and you can see this thing actually went up about 400% from where it was trading at here recently. Trading at, you know, just above $1 essentially, and this thing pumping all the way up to above $5.60. And it basically went up about 400% from where it was just trading. Now, this is a token that at one time was trading at over $85 per coin. But now we see a manipulation pump here off of the news that Gary Gensler thinks that someone might be able to fire back up the FTX exchange. That was the comment, right? And so we literally see Alex Cobb shares this. He says, I will never understand this market. It's just a very immature market. That's what this is. The FTX bankruptcy proceedings are underway. The FTT token no longer has any use and may be liquidated by the estate to pay creditors. Please proceed with caution. Oh, let me go buy some, right? And they pump this thing up. And so it's the usual cohorts, right? it all started at the beginning of this year with Binance USD getting printed at the Paxos Treasury, USDC getting printed. And then we see Tether just within the last 2 days printing in another $2 billion worth of Tether. And then we see $200 million flow into the market cap of Tether in the last 48 hours. It's like literally this space. As soon as somebody gets exposed, as soon as somebody it talks about, coming after an exchange or coming after a token, it's like let's pump it. That's how this market moves. It's like this is the final last gasp. I guess if they're already, the cop on the beat's already following you, or in the case of FTX, if the cop on the beat is your buddy, and Sam Bankman-Fried was as cozy as could be with all of Congress on both sides of the aisle, along with Gary Gensler as well, going to meet the SEC, right? Then what do you have to worry about? Then pump the heck out of it. And I wonder, is Sam Bankman, does he have laptop access in jail? He probably does. I know he was trying to get his supplements. We'll call them that. I know. Sam Bankman-Fried was trying to get his supplements, right? It's just unbelievable. The manipulation gang shows up here once again today, the usual cohorts. And as I was warning with this whole BlackRock narrative, this started back when Bitcoin reached 30,000, and that was on Monday. October 16th was the exact day. Let me pull it up here on the charts for you guys. This is the exact day. Sorry, it was the 16th. Yeah. Yep. This is the exact day where the fake news article got shared that BlackRock ETF got approved, or that the Bitcoin spot ETF got approved, right? And then it was the BlackRock narrative. And then it was the BlackRock ETH narrative that took us all the way up here to 38,000. But I was showing you guys the manipulation back in January with the Paxos Treasury printing Binance USD and Bitcoin going up based off of that news up to 20,000. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was still shorting Bitcoin, right? And we saw the printing, we saw the manipulation, and sure enough, we've started this bull trap rally that has now done 144% since last year. Since November of last year, when Bitcoin bottomed out at 15,500, go figure, after FTX collapsed, 1 year later, what's happening with FTX? Well, he's found guilty on all 7 charges, right? He's been completely exposed along with the SEC, but now Gary Gensler comes on out and says that somebody might revive FTX. And, it's just backdoor dealing after backdoor dealing with these guys. They have no shame, and they acted as if they would never get caught and no one would ever try to hold them accountable. And some days I ask, are we ever going to get to hold these guys accountable, right? But this is why I've been warning our community about this price action. The manipulation is as clear as can be. And as I showed you guys earlier, BlackRock insider trading alert, BlackRock chairman and CEO Larry Fink dumped 15,000 shares this week worth over $10 million. So we are seeing it time and time again. A company comes in and they say that we're going to leverage Bitcoin. We're going to leverage AI, and their stock goes up. It just goes nuts, right? Nobody even knows what that means. The company doesn't even know what that means. They don't know how they're going to leverage AI, but they say it and stock price goes up. And if you look at all the major CEOs around the world and specifically in the United States, they have been dumping a record amount of shares right now. Now, Gary Gensler is not done. He's still coming after it. And this time he's talking about climate disclosures. It's so hilarious, this guy. He says, I've said it plenty of times and I'll say it again. The SEC is not a climate regulator. We're a disclosure-based regulator, and we're working to bring consistency and comparability for investors, helping to ensure that registrants make full, fair, and truthful disclosures. Where were the disclosures for FTX? Where were the disclosures for Luna? Right? Where were the disclosures for, what was the, was it Shiba? It wasn't Shiba. Who just got arrested? I want to say Pancake Swap. It wasn't What was the other SafeMoon? It was SafeMoon. They arrested the founders of SafeMoon after they allow these things to blow up and these Ponzi schemes to just go nuts. and then everybody loses their money after it blows up and collapses, and then Gary wants to come in and then he arrests the founders of SafeMoon. Not while SafeMoon is being promoted and hyped and running up. God, no. Because they want to collect more damages. They want to issue more fines. That's their whole business model. So they're not actually here to stop or prevent it. They're here to come after the fact for cleanup. That's their whole MO. And Gary Gensler is so hypocritical in trying to say that we're a disclosure-based regulator. What a load of hot you-know-what. Now, I want to talk about the ETF filings. Once again, I'm not here to buy an ETF of anything. If I want silver, I buy silver. If I want XRP, I'm buying XRP and I'm storing it myself. And if my grandma wants some cryptocurrencies, it's the same for her. I'll help her set up a wallet. I'll help her buy off the exchanges. But the ETFs is what the traditional Wall Street pours all the money into. And when you go back and you look at historically what happened after gold got its ETFs approved, it went absolutely nuts. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. So when Gary Gensler and his gang finally gets his act together and they approve some of these ETFs, we are going to go nuts. I'm not a fan of the ETF products. I'm not a fan of Wall Street when it comes to 90% of the programs and offerings in the traditional 401k program. I pulled my money out of the 401k I had about 8 years ago when I left my job and I started my own business. I took all of my 401k out, took the penalty, and I invested it into my company. So I've been out of this system for a long time. I'm against all of this crap. But the masses, right, are going to get piled into this asset class after Wall Street gets their ducks in a row and they get ready to sell all of their ETF and exchange traded products to the masses with the 401ks and the retirement accounts. That's why this is so massive. And so I looked it up today. Here's a Wikipedia on gold exchange traded products. And you had, gold exchange traded product was Central Fund of Canada, a closed-end fund founded in 1961. So that was kind of like the first original. But when you look at the first gold ETF, it was launched by Gold Bullion Securities, which listed on the March 28th date of 2003 on the Australian Securities Exchange by ETF Securities and its major shareholder, Graham Tuckwell. A history of the birth of the first gold ETFs was published by the London Bullion Market Association in 2021. And so basically you had the first one. It was in Australia. Shout out. I don't know if we have any Aussies in the chat. Actually, I did see Stuart. Stuart showed up and dropped some love. Stuart, I appreciate you, brother. Look at that. Stuart, thank you so much for the super chat, man. This market needs to be cleaned out. The time is near. Amen. Amen. Absolutely. The Aussies are here. And the Australians were the first gold ETF. But then in November of 2004, State Street, and we've heard about them. We've talked about them a few times, right? State Street, big time player on Wall Street right now. They launched the SPDR gold shares. And the ticker on the New York Stock Exchange is GLD. And so that was the first ETF here in the United States was in 2004. Now, I'll show you guys what happened on that chart. It's right here. I put out this tweet so that folks could understand why I'm excited about an ETF, not so that I can invest in it, but so that we can pour, hundreds of billions and trillions of dollars into this asset class. Will a spot ETF be good for Bitcoin, Ethereum, or XRP? Well, in the decade after the gold ETF started to arrive, it pumped 500% from about $300 to $1,900 per ounce. But this was an asset that had been trading for thousands of years, though. I expect the gains on digital assets to be even more significant because if you think about it, right, gold had been trading for thousands of years. It already had gone into price discovery. It had already gone through, monetary resets. And it was literally what anchored the monetary system after the Bretton Woods Agreement in 1944. So this thing had been trading for a while. Unlike crypto, which has only been around for a decade, this thing is very immature. And we still have a lot of money that's going to pour into this system. But when you look at the chart on this thing, it's clear as day. This thing was at $300 back in 2003. And you can see, right, it was in November of 2004 when that ETF in the United States got approved. And then after that, this thing goes up 500% all the way up to about $1,900 per ounce. So what's going to happen to crypto? I would expect multiples of that is what I'm expecting, right? I've talked about how I think that we got a 2 to 3x into the crypto space coming, and that's the overall cryptocurrency market cap. So we achieved 3 trillion last bull run. I think that we easily can reach out to 10 trillion this bull run. 2 to 3x would be 6 to 9 trillion, but let's round up to 10. Let's have a little bit of fun and let's pump it, and let's try to hit 10 trillion. I could see us topping out somewhere around 9 trillion though, for sure. 9 to 10 trillion is kind of my expectation for the 2024 to 2025 bull run. And I'm not excited for that bull run so much as I am the 2028, 29, 30 when we go into full utility. This is still going to have some speculation, but the full amount of liquidity that's coming into the space won't be realized. It's still going to be just starting to come in. But hey, look at what gold did after that first ETF got approved. If that's a sign of things to come, an asset that moves very slow, right? 500% in precious metals is 50,000% in crypto, if we're being real, right? I mean, 500% in precious metals is at least 5,000%, right? I mean, we're talking a 50 banger. This thing's going to go absolutely nuts after we get the ETFs approved, after we get all of the Wall Street boys and girls who want to make sure that they get their cut. When you invest in XRP outside of their system, outside of the ETF, they're not collecting their fee. You're not keeping your money with that money manager, with that Morgan Stanley, that Goldman Sachs, that Charles Schwab, whoever's money, your financial advisor. And so this is why I think that it's very interesting to have the ETF conversation. I believe that you have a clearer path to get an XRP ETF approved because it has legal clarity and in and of itself not being a security. Where I have a dozen questions about Bitcoin and Ethereum that would need to be answered, especially if Gary Gensler wants to be the full disclosure regulator, the regulator that champions full disclosure and transparency. What a hot load of you-know-what. I mean, are we kidding? Now, this is what I'm so excited for. And one of the best sleuths in the community, Boring Sleuth on Twitter, shares with us the protocols that weren't in bed with the CCP will be the benefactors of the future bull cycles. A protocol like DAG, who works with the Department of Defense, A protocol like DAG, who works with the Department of Defense, is one example of a well-positioned protocol. XRP is another. Now, I've seen Truth Labs expose all sorts of stuff in regards to the Ethereum free pass, into the Wang Sheng, into the CCP. He's covered it all. And some of it, the XRP community has jumped all over. But I've never seen him come out and say something like this, right? And when you have one of the best sleuths in the community, one of the best sleuths on Twitter coming out, and he's not really into pumping crypto or, any of that stuff. He's really approaching this from, he calls the title there Truth Labs, his handle, Boring Sleuth. This guy's a boring sleuth. He's not trying to pump or hype anything up. But through our research, through what we've uncovered, and now we are being vindicated, we are being proven right, because what's the narrative on DC now? Let's block the United States government from using any blockchain or technology that basically comes out of China. And then you saw Biden just the other week, he actually banned the chip sales to China as well. And that's what crashed NVIDIA. NVIDIA's since pumped though. So shout out to the guys and gals who are holding NVIDIA. You're back up once again, but be careful. But the point remains here. The protocols that weren't in bed with the corruption are going to be not just benefactors, right? They are going to be the darlings of this space when the big money comes in, when the institutions come in. And this is the problem with the disclosures for the hedge funds. And if they get that ESG stuff through too, it'll require even more disclosures. How do you put together a prospectus for your investors with full disclosure on Bitcoin when you don't know where the Bitcoin was mined from? You don't know if the Bitcoin was used for illicit activities? How do you issue or get a Ethereum, spot ETF approval for Ethereum, when you don't know whether or not Ethereum is a security in and of itself. Gary Gensler can't come up on stage and say whether it's a security or not. You know, and you know, this is the thing. When I compare it to XRP, we could probably get an ETF filed up and approved before if we didn't have the SEC in our way. Now, that's the $1 trillion problem that we faced in the XRP community, is that we literally have trillions of dollars worth of damages because the SEC didn't just get in our way, they attacked us. They came after us, but we won. We won. And as you guys saw, it was such a great week. I know a lot of folks are disappointed right now because of the price action. XRP has been pumping like crazy, right? Let me pull this thing up and show you what XRP's done. Just since that we've gotten cleaned out earlier this year, you saw that we were all the way back down here at 40 cents, about the 38-cent level, right? We've already gone up 88%. Right now we're at about 67%. But you look at the performance this year on XRP, it's very strong. Very strong, all things considered. And you zoom out here, I mean, look at where we were at. This thing was all the way down here at the start of this year, went all the way down to 30 cents. So this thing has already done significantly well during a time when nobody knows where to put their money at all. They don't even want to do treasury bonds, right? And so this is why I'm not doing treasury bonds. This is why I'm not saving US dollars. The only cash that I'm putting on the sideline is to have for blackout barter and to have for more investments in equities and undervalued assets. Real estate, equities, cryptocurrencies, undervalued assets that have already appreciated significantly during the end of the world, relatively speaking, during Black Swan event of banking crisis in March. We have World War III expanding to Israel, Gaza here recently in September. And whatever else they have planned for us this fall, winter, we're remaining resilient, but I believe that we're going to get smacked again, okay? But the trajectory of this thing and the breakout upon price discovery is an easy double-digit price for XRP upon breakout. And just think of how life-changing that move from where we sit at 65 cents here today to $10, that's going to be life-changing in and of itself. Now, many folks don't have the patience. Many folks aren't going to be able to make it because times are getting tough. This isn't something that I run away from. This isn't something that I don't acknowledge. This isn't something that I don't have sympathy for. But this is why I break everything down in the way that I do. We go through all of the current events. We go through all the financial markets. We talk about business strategy. We talk about the real estate asset class. We talk about the bond market. We talk about equities. And we talk about crypto because we think it's the best opportunity. But you can't just sit on crypto and think that you're going to survive what's coming our way, what's already here. We're in the middle of an economic hurricane that we haven't seen in decades. The data takes us back to the great financial crisis, to the dot-com bubble, to the 1987 crash, to the 1930s depression. So somewhere in between, we find what is in store for us over this next year. And just look at what they did during the last election cycle of 2020. If that's a hint at what's coming, if you know the last 2 years, 2022, right, has just been nuts, Into 2023, it got worse. Right. And so right now, at the end of the day, this community has to remember all of the research that we've put in here, all of the partnerships, and all of the real world utility that you're seeing get announced. It will lead to something. It will lead to higher than $1 XRP, right? And I believe that this thing's set to make the rest of the space look like an absolute joke that it is. You know, if you want to go try to catch gains on FTT token, then good luck, God bless. Let me know how it works out. You know, I mean, God bless you. For me, I'm not playing. I'm not doing it. And I'm not buying this fake narrative hype manipulation. And if we you know, want to have a good time and enjoy the crypto pump, we can do that. I mean, I'm here for you guys on a Friday night to do exactly that. But I got to keep it real with you guys too, right? And I think that we have a lot of folks who are going to have to reconsider their holdings. Take a serious, a sober look. You know, maybe wait, maybe stay here and enjoy the adult beverage with me and let's enjoy this pump. But maybe we have to take a sobering look at our positions, our risk tolerance, our expectations in our timeline. Now, I've been smacked in the face by the timeline and XRP, so don't think that I'm sitting on some high horse here. I'm not trying to act like I'm any better. I've been hit. But the thing is I have not lost no conviction at all. In fact, my conviction and it's not faith. It's facts that I've came across. It's data points that I see growing, that I see that are positive, that lead me to be more bullish on this than I ever have been. And the reason why, for me, I think the XRP steals the show is because the legal clarity separates us, but then also the additional utilities to a ledger that actually works will separate us as well. And right now, we got an update here on the validators voting on the reduced offers amendment, which has achieved a majority and entered 14-day activation countdown period. If you're still running Rippled version 1.11, 0.0 or below, now is the time to upgrade. And this is from XRP Scan. Let's go take a fresh look at XRP Scan right now and see where we're at on the amendments as we just covered. Reduced offers was in the lead. It has reached 29 voters, and that is an 82.86% consensus. And for those of you who don't know, once we achieve the 80% consensus, it has to hold for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, the amendment is approved. Now, in second place, oh, wow. Actually, I didn't even, this is new to me. This is breaking news, guys. We have now reached 80% consensus on NFT, NF token remint. Now, these were two fixes, right? That's why they put in fix reduced offers, fix NF token remint. And so that's why they were quick to pass. They're already well on their way. Now, in third place, we have XRP fees at 48% consensus. And then we have the clawback in fourth place at 54, third place would be clawback at 54%. Fourth place would be XRP fees at 48. And then finally, in last place, with only 12 votes right now, is the AMM. 34% consensus. We still have a ways to go. We need another dozen and a half. We need, we need some more validators to get on board. But yeah, that clawback, I didn't realize the clawback's already at 54%, and the clawback's going to be massive on top of this AMM. And I'm going to play this clip here. This just came out here, a recent interview with Lachlan Todd, and this is David Schwartz talking about the AMM and talking about how the AMM might just be too good to be true. Listen in for yourself.
Too good to be true probably is. One thing, nobody who thinks a token is going to be worth $10 tomorrow is going to sell it for $3 today. Right? That just, if someone is selling something for $3 today, they don't think they can sell it for $10 tomorrow, because otherwise they would do that. So, just those little bits of common sense go, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Unless it's the AMM on the XRP ledger, which does sound too good to be true, it is true. But everything else that sounds too good to be true probably is. One thing, nobody who thinks
so how bullish is David on the AMM? It almost sounds too good to be true, because it is too good to be true. Really. And it's so interesting because you haven't seen really Ripple come out and push for any amendment with so much push behind it, right? David Schwartz came on to our good friend Vet, another one of the validators. Vet, I had Vet on a space a couple weeks back. We've actually had him by a couple times. He's one of the trusted validators, doing a great job confirming the ledger. But David Schwartz actually came on to a space that Vet hosted, and they explained the AMM and the test that they had done with their developers and their team. And so Ripple's already put their engineers, their brains behind it. They've already run tests on the AMM, and they've really came out and pushed this one. Now, why? Because now Ripple just announced at the Ripple Swell conference, right, that they are now going to be using the XRPL DEX. So, as you guys already know, Ripple's on-demand liquidity wasn't using the XRPL DEX yet, But now that has changed. Now they've merged everything. RippleNet, on-demand liquidity. Now it's just Ripple payments. And now when it comes to some of their cross-border payment flows for ODL, they are going to be using the XRPL DEX. And the reason why they want this AMM is because the AMM helps make the DEX more efficient. So the automated market maker makes the DEX that's already built into the XRP ledger that much more efficient. And we're going to be able to build out so much liquidity. And I think that Ripple is ready with some of their on-demand liquidity partners to just move over huge amounts of liquidity all at once. You know, and they're not going to do it all at once. It's not going to go from 0 to 1 trillion all at once. But, you know, say, you know, we got a corridor here. We're doing $1 billion a year. Let's start by moving over, you know, tens of millions. Let's start by moving over hundreds of millions. And eventually we start to really pick this thing up. They did over $10 billion worth of settlement last year on ODL. Now, I believe that through the legal clarity and through this AMM and through more money coming in the XRP ecosystem, you are going to see that on-demand liquidity volume grow so rapidly. I don't even know if we'll be able to track it anymore, though, because now, I mean, it's going to be up to the reports that we get from Ripple. Now, everything that's merged into Ripple payments, I don't know if they're going to break down in the report how much of the settlement's happening on the XRPL, but we will be able to watch it because we'll be able to see. It's like if someone, issues the Philippine peso on the XRP ledger, and then we have the US dollar or the Philippine peso XRP pair, you know, whatever it may be, and Ripple with one of their on-demand liquidity partners like Tranglo or FOMO Pay decides to come on in and they start to move flows of liquidity onto that AMM liquidity pool, you ramp it up quickly, and then it's not something that turns off. It's a spigot that turns on and then just continually picks up from there, right? So they get to take it to an initial flow. They turn on the spigot and they start sending liquidity downstream, right? But then we all get a pile in too to the same liquidity pools that Ripple is going to be using for Ripple payments and on-demand liquidity with their partners. This is what was not happening up until now, which is why you heard all the haters and all the fudsters say that Ripple's on-demand liquidity wasn't impacting price. For the most part, most of what Ripple has been doing has not impacted price because all of their sales of XRP have been happening over the counter, meaning that they don't hit the public exchanges, they don't hit the public markets, and they definitely haven't been on the DEX for people to watch. So we have no idea. All we get to see is that each month there's institutions that are buying 100 to 200 million XRP from Ripple every single month. So if you want to know, is there demand for XRP or not? Yes, there is. There's a significant amount of demand. Now, Ripple is selling off $200 or $300 million worth of XRP, or so I should say 200 to 300 million XRP per month, but then they're taking and they're returning the rest back to escrow. And like David said, you wouldn't be selling something right here at 60 cents if you think that you can sell it for more later. And that's what they're doing. Right. They're building out demand now. They're trickling it out now. They're turning on the spigot now. Right. And once we get the validators around to surpassing this AMM and this thing goes live, it's going to take the rest of the crypto space by storm because everyone's going to say, oh, wait, hold up. I don't have to go to an Ethereum layer 2. I don't have to go to Pancake Swap and Sushi Swap and flip my coins into something else that's wrapped and put it on some shady exchange so that I can earn my yield. That was DeFi in a nutshell, what was taking place in the crypto space that got us up to this point. And DeFi went nuts on a bunch of decentralized Ponzi schemes. Now, what you're going to see on the XRPL AMMs is you're going to be decentralized liquidity pools that are only going to increase in volumes, I believe. I mean, sure, volumes will have, ebbs and flows and some pullbacks, but the macro trend will just be more and more liquidity coming on board. And you won't have to worry about the rug pulls. The rug pulls come from, let me be very clear. You will still have to worry about rug pulls. If you go into an issued asset, you got to worry about who is the issuer of that asset. What does that token represent? What is the value there? Because there's already tons of worthless tokens on the XRP ledger. I get DMs from them all the time. And I mean, there's a new one every day because anybody can launch a token on this open permissionless blockchain, the XRP Ledger, and it costs you nothing to do it. It's literally free to go create a meme token. And so every single week there's a new meme, every single day there's a new meme coin created on the XRPL. And so if you go to join the liquidity pool with meme coin and XRP, and you think that you're going to make some yield because, there's a promise of a high return, well, that high return's probably coming from no liquidity actually in there. And then as soon as you get in, this is where the rug pulls come from, is that the main players who are building up and promising that liquidity and those returns, they pull it out. See, they pull the liquidity, and that's where the rug pulls come from. That's why so many of these DeFi protocols got rugged. Time Wonderland was promising 80,000% returns. But just like FTX pumping today, you can never imagine how stupid this market can be. People invested in Time Wonderland thinking that their 80,000% return was going to be sustainable and wonder why it went bust. The yield has to be generated from somewhere. And if you don't know where the yield is coming from, you are the yield. So I see that Stuart dropped another hundo. Stuart, so much love for you, brother. He says, Bitcoin and Ethereum dudes, quote, "It was the best of times, then it was the worst of times. I think they're in for a rude awakening. I really do, Stuart. I think you're onto it. It was a good time. It was a good party, but I think that they're coming into a massive, massive correction." Absolutely. Thank you so much for the support, brother. Let me catch up on these comments. Drop some comments down below. Let me know what you guys think about David Schwartz saying that the AMM is almost too good to be true. It is too good to be true, he said. Let's listen in again.
It's going to be worth one thing. Nobody who thinks a token is going to be worth $10 tomorrow is going to sell it for $3 today. Right? That just, if someone is selling something for $3 today, they don't think they can sell it for $10 tomorrow, because otherwise they would do that. So, just those little bits of common sense go, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Unless it's the AMM on the XRP Ledger, which does sound too good to be true, it is true. But everything else that sounds too good to be true probably is.
I mean, have you heard David Schwartz get giddy about anything like this? I mean, I'm sure he has. I'm sure he gets excited about some other stuff. But he's just as happy as can be to get this AMM rocking and rolling. And a big part of this, too, is that this is what Ripple needs to be able to actually get XRP into the hands of the institutions. As Judge Torres ruled that the sales to institutions were a securities offering, the investment contract, you have to be very clear, not the XRP. The XRP was not the security. It was the sale investment contract of that XRP, because it had lockup periods. They did options contracts with companies like R3. So all of those deals were investment contract offerings with lockup periods, with expectations of profit. I mean, the deal with R3 fell apart because Ripple gave the R3 deal, not just because they did like R3. They loved R3, and they loved the banks that were part of the R3 consortium. And so the deal with Ripple and R3 was, hey, we'll give you an option, 5 billion XRP, which you can buy from 2016 to 2019 at less than a penny. Let me know in the chat if you would have liked that deal. If you would have loved an option contract to buy XRP at less than a penny from 2016 to 2019. Now, many of us probably couldn't cut the check for 5 billion XRP, but even just being able to have the options contract to do that, can you imagine? And the deal went south because XRP price went nuts, as you guys know, in 2017, 2018. And Ripple was actually able to settle with R3 because R3 didn't hold up to their end of the deal, which was, we're going to give you all this XRP and you're going to get your banks to partner up with us and to use XRP as well. R3 didn't hold up to their end of the deal, and XRP price went crazy, so Ripple was going to get their butts handed to them. And so that's how Ripple was able to back out of that deal, and they were able to settle up for 1 billion XRP is what R3 ended up getting. It was about 1 billion XRP. So that type of dealing, absolutely, you have expectations of profit based off of others, an investment of money. It's there. It's there. It doesn't mean that the underlying asset XRP is a security. It means that you package something up in an investment contract that was a security. Now, what happens is now that we have legal clarity in the United States, right? And then we have the clear utility of on-demand liquidity, and with the AMM too, you would have the ability to tap into these liquidity pools. And this is a way that they'd be able to get XRP into the hands of these institutions, or at least provide the liquidity for these institutions, right? And so this is where Ripple's really setting themselves up to be the one-stop shop for liquidity. I am so excited. I don't know about you guys, but I have lost no faith, no conviction in this asset. I'm enjoying the show. The pump to 73 cents is cool. It's great. But I'm just remaining patient with my cash on the sidelines and just trying to feed the family and pay for $60 pizza, 8-piece wings, and a chicken Caesar salad. If you guys missed my story from earlier today, it's just a load of hot crap that they're trying to tell us that inflation's only 3%. It wasn't that long ago when you got the $5 hot and ready, and now it's a $20 pizza minimum. And I cannot believe it. Every time I actually look at something, I look at a bill, I go, what the heck is this? Whether it's filling, I mean, at the pump, yeah, whatever. Don't really worry about that. But every time you go to buy something these days, whether it's at the restaurant, whether it's at the fast food, whether it's a Happy Meal, whether it's a Starbucks woke latte, it's disgraceful. May God forgive me for the amount of money that I've given to Starbucks. It's so stupid. But if it ain't Starbucks, then it's another local coffee shop. And it's just ridiculous. You know, you pay $6-7 for a little white chocolate mocha. What? Right? And then you throw them a tip too. Tonight it was $60 for a large pizza, a chicken Caesar salad, and an 8-piece wings. We're trying to invest in these generational wealth assets. Shoot. Just trying to feed the family these days, huh? You guys know how it goes. Let me take some Q&A. I appreciate everyone for tapping in tonight. Cheers, everyone. Thank you so much. We got 420 in the chat. Appreciate you guys for stopping by. XR Peaky Blinder drops another 5 spot. Joel Kitty Cats is the man. Or he says damn confident. DAMM. I like that. XR Peaky always pulling up. Gonna be amazing. It is, man. The automated money maker. David was the one that came up with that term, the automated money maker. So what do you guys think about this situation on hand here? Drop some comments down below. If you want to stop in for our weekly call in our Discord group, that's going to be happening tomorrow morning. Get tapped in with my website, zachrector.com. They are sad wings too, Jay. It's so true. The quality. I mean, the quality of the meat these days. Golly. Unless you go to a good steakhouse and you pay about $50, you don't get a good cut of steak. You know? They're telling you that they're serving up a little 6-ounce tenderloin. Yeah, okay. It's just crazy, the cut of meat. And that was another investments that we've been talking about, is getting good quality local grass-fed beef, getting quality stuff. I know my family's been all over it too. We've been doing a lot of Trader Joe's. I don't know about you guys. They got I guess healthy stuff that's cheap. I don't know. I let wifey handle all that. I don't really focus on any of that, but all I know is that it's getting damn expensive. Damn, Zach, you hitting me in the feels this evening. Chris, are you the that's Chris, that's the right Chris. Chris, is that you, the one that just sent me the gift package? Chris, let me know. Is that the real Chris? Can the real Chris stand up? See, I got a shirt sent. I'll show you guys here. I got one shirt sent to me, and then I got another little gift box here too. I've been waiting to do an unboxing here. I thought it'd be fun to do a little community unboxing with you guys. Stuart, I appreciate the love, brother. Thank you for another super chat. Freedom is what we strive for, and that's all we do, right? And for me, you get freedom through options, and that's why for me, I don't go all in on crypto anymore. I did that. I spent every last dollar on crypto. I don't do that anymore. I got a family, so I got to be responsible. I can't be a degenerate bachelor that just goes all in on crypto, and that's not as fun as it. What it was really exciting to spend all your money on crypto and then figure out how you're going to feed yourself. The good old days. I still eat top ramen. I try to eat top ramen maybe every other week, just to remind myself of the good old hustle. And because it's so damn expensive out here. It is, Chris. Let me get this. Let's do a little unboxing. What do you guys say? We'll do a little community unboxing, sipping our adult beverages. Thank you for tuning in tonight, guys. Martin, yes, I know there's lots of scams. Watch out for the scams, man. There's so many scams out here. I will not be responding to any more social media DMs, nothing like that. If you want to get in touch with me, the only place is at my website, or if you're in our Patreon Discord group. Only places. Okay. Oh, I just hit myself in the face. Okay, so this first shirt, you may know him as Young Quavo in the chat. Young Quavo is his YouTube name, and also in our Discord group. I won't dox your real name, but Young Quavo in the chat. I don't know if Young Quavo's here with us tonight. It's probably too late. I think Young Quavo's East Coast, so I think he's already gone to bed. But I like this one. It's got the X on the front, right? Very simple on the front. But then on the back, it has this. Oh, look at that. Fake news will not tell you this. Take a picture of this shirt. Go to TikTok and YouTube. Do your own research. ISO 222. Ripple XRP. Zach Rector, Coach JV, Good Morning Crypto, Digital Outlook, Economic Ninja, and Young Quavo in the chat. I thought that one was kind of cool. Huge shout out to Young Quavo. Huge shout out to Coach JV, Good Morning Crypto, Digital Outlook, and Economic Ninja too. I like the Ninja too. I didn't know that Ninja was an XRP bro too. I knew he was a bro hawk guy. That's cool. I didn't know that Economic Ninja was an XRP guy too. So I got that one from Young Quavo. That was fun. But I've been waiting to open this up, Chris. So thank you so much. This is from Chris in the chat. You guys see Chris. He's a real one. And I got to meet Chris in Vegas. And he just does this for fun. I was going to plug his website. He sent me all this stuff. And I said, Chris, do you have merch? Because let's plug you up. But he says he just does it with fun with his wife. So Chris is a real one. Huge shout out to Chris. And he's the one who had the cutout of David Schwartz at XRP Vegas. So huge shout out to Chris. We're going to need that. Another cozy. Look at this swag, man. He said he sent me some things that were funny. What are these? NNC with the mood. What does this mean, Chris? Where's Chris at? I don't even know what this is. What this logo's for. Am I supposed to know this, Chris? Okay, I gotta set this box down because Chris loaded this thing up. Okay, this is a badass shirt right here. David Schwartz. That's so awesome. Just the David Schwartz meme on the front. With the Ripple XRP, the standard on the back. Gotta love it. I thought that Chris said that he had sent me something in regards to the Moosehead Grill. Is that what this is? Moosehead Grill. In Charlotte, North Carolina. Means nothing, sir. I don't know about the Moosehead Grill, but I guess we're going to be repping the Moosehead Grill. That's cool. We got more cozies. So we're all going to be having David Schwartz cozies. This is the one that you were talking about. I'm not going to say what this shirt says, but the 2020 Mount Rushmore. Some of our favorites. That's classic, Chris. Great work. I don't know if I can show all this. What has he got there? That's a good one. That's a good one. I think that's like your logo, isn't it? I can't even read off some of these. It says fight back on the front, and it says something on the back that's inappropriate. I'll have to save this for the private chat. That's too good. Chris, are you kidding me? That's a good one. That's too much for YouTube. These shirts are definitely some conversation starters. Are you kidding me? Legendary. Gotta love it. That was epic. Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you so much, Young Quavo. Got the trucker hat for the Moose Club. Is that what it's called? The Moose Club? That's epic. Got my cozies now. Huge shout out to the community, guys. I love you guys so much. You guys' support has been amazing. I know it's been a long bear market recession, but you know, the positive energy of this community just keeps us going, doesn't it? And it's just a pleasure. I gotta love it. Economic Ninja got his XRP at 2 cents. Chris, what a class act. He says, not plugging, just giving you the nicest swag. Appreciate the love, brother. That is David Schwartz's first or third NFTs on the XRP Ledger. Much love. Chris, that's cool. I didn't know that. And we got the Moose Club. That's good. That's really so awesome. I'm going to wear that for sure. People are like, what? Moose Club in Charlotte, North Carolina? What are you talking about? Be like, yeah, it's a private club. You gotta, you know, you gotta be selected to get in. The Moose's has the cheapest drink. Can take my girls there, and Sunday breakfast so good. Is it like a thing? Did I sell any XRP at the last top a few days ago? No. It's a honky tonk. Even better. Nothing like a good old honky tonk from down south. You guys are fun. Am I buying XRP NFTs? No, I'm not. Not right now. I'm really excited though for the NFTs that are coming to the XRP Ledger right now are kind of cute. They're kind of fun. But the tokenization that's coming to the XRP Ledger through the NFTs is going to be massive, right? We have some serious deals happening right now. I'm very excited for it. But right now, no, I'm just kind of letting the builders build. Myself, I cannot wait to take a look at doing my own NFT project. I've already definitely considered it. We've talked about it with the team, and it's something that we're going to do. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But yeah, we're definitely going to do some sort of NFT project for sure. $3 Bloody Marys. $3 Bloody Marys on Sunday with breakfast at my Moose Lodge where we live. Best community. That's awesome. KJ, thank you. Huge shout out to Young Quavo in the chat. Zach, let's talk about the Ripple price and what the IPO will do. So great question. Let's talk about Ripple IPO. Remember, I'm not here to give you financial advice, but this is very simple to me. Just the fact that they're not including the XRP and escrow in the valuation for Ripple pre-IPO tells me that it's discounted, right? That right there, it's the proper way to do the accounting. But what it does is it really hides the true value. And what I mean by that, for those of you who don't know, they're valuing Ripple at about 10 billion on the private markets right now. They're valuing Ripple at about 10 billion on the private markets, but that does not include the XRP that they have in escrow. So let's think about this. The company is valued at 10 billion, but they hold 45 billion XRP just in escrow that is valued at 67 cents. I don't know the math on that, but that's more than $10 billion worth of XRP right there. Now, can they dump it all at once? No. And this is why I say it's the proper way to do the accounting. The accounting has to be done this way because they don't have possession of the XRP. Technically, it's in escrow, so they don't have possession. They can't use it. And so that's why it's not an asset on their balance sheet. But what that translates to is a huge discount on the Ripple IPO price right now. Now, how high can Ripple go upon this IPO? I think that they can easily do a few $100 a share. I think that this thing can easily go up to a few $100 a share. Right now, long-term growth. I did a video, Ripple pre-IPO versus XRP. And for me, it's not one or the other, it's a both, but it's two different investment strategies. It's two different part of the investment portfolios. I treat XRP as a world reserve currency. I treat a position in a company like Ripple. That's just a position, an equity position that I'm looking to exit out of at some point. That's not something that I'm going to hold on to forever, especially because this is a new company. It's a new IPO. And because we are seeing time after time again in almost all of the cases of these darling IPOs, go look at WeWork, for example. WeWork got up to about a $50 billion valuation for their IPO. This was literally the business model for WeWork was a happy slappy collaboration workspace, which was the hottest thing ever during the 2020s, this last few years. Until it wasn't, and then it went bust, and then right now they're going bankrupt, and the companies are trading at less than $1 per share. Now, do I think that that's going to happen to Ripple? No, I don't think that Ripple's going to go bankrupt. But I just look at what happened with Coinbase's IPO. I mean, you can just go look at right down the board at all of these IPOs. What it does is it's exit liquidity for the early investors. So you want to be getting in private equity right now before they go public, and then you want to be selling after they go public if you've realized your goals and you're ready to take your chips off the table. Then that's what I would be doing, right? Right now, I don't own any Ripple IPO equities, though. Right now, in full disclosure, I don't own any equities. But right now, I'm waiting for if the traditional market is going to be going into a correction and the valuations are falling off, the liquidity in the VC space is tightening up, this could actually force the price down here. Now, they could have a big breakthrough, right? And they could really take off, and maybe they could do the IPO sooner than later. But I'm remaining patient on Ripple Private Equity right now, and I am hopeful that I can buy some here soon. How long before people choose to have risk with crypto by buying XRP ETF instead of holding the asset? Well, I think that a lot of folks are going to be forced to go into an ETF because their 401k retirement account won't be able to take possession of the XRP, right? They won't be able to take possession of the XRP themselves. It's just like with these stocks, it's all within the Wall Street program paradigm. Some might call it a Ponzi scheme, but it's the only option. That's why a lot of folks come up and they ask me, what should I do? What should I do with my 401k? I'm thinking about pulling it all out. And I said, you really have to consider the penalty that you're going to take and what you're going to do with that investment. Because even though you're there, even though it kind of sucks, as long as you can go into a self-directed IRA, or you can have some sort of like sway, or at least, have some sort of position here, then you can determine where your investments are at in the 401k, and you still can get exposure to some investment opportunities that are probably worthwhile. But no, that's going to be where it's going to be the only option for the retirement accounts, right? You won't be able to take possession in your retirement account unless it's through an ETF in many cases. An ETF pumped by a counterfeit dollar. Well, that's the whole thing, is that the underlying assets compared to these fiat currencies has gone nuts. Just look at what gold has done against 6 currencies right now. It's trading at all-time high. It's just not at all-time high yet for the US dollar. It got pretty dang close once again. It's already triple tapped off that 20,000 or 2,000 per ounce level. It's tapped off there so many times here in the last few years, and it's set to break out here. And, you got to consider what happened when the gold ETF got approved. I shared earlier in this episode, gold went up 500% after the gold ETF got approved. So do I want to hold an ETF? No. But am I here to watch the ETFs pump hundreds of billions into the space, trillions into this space? You bet I am. You bet. This is what I'm talking about right here. Take a look at this tweet. I shared this out earlier today. Will a spot ETF be good for Bitcoin, ETH, or XRP? Well, in the decade after the gold ETF started to arrive, it pumped 500% from about $300 to $1,900. This was an asset that had been trading for thousands of years, though. I expect the gains on the digital assets to be even more significant. Let's take a look at the chart. Up 500% from $300 in 2003 when Australia approved the first ETF, and then in 2004 State Street got the first ETF in the United States, and then after that we went all the way up to about $1,900, 500% in about a decade after that ETF got approved. Now, when we look at crypto, this is a new asset class. It's only been around for 10 years. Hasn't been traded for thousands of years. So after an ETF gets approved for this, we might do a little bit more than just 500%. That's the move that I'm looking at right now, and why for me the ETF is exciting. It's not because I want to invest in an ETF. It's not because I want my grandma to invest in an ETF. I want my grandma to own XRP in her own wallet, self-custodying it, right? But, okay, for many, the only way, the only retirement account that they have is their 401ks, is their retirement savings. And you can only invest in the compliant, investments that are made available for those retirement accounts. It really sucks. It's really limiting. But to take your money out, you're going to get hit with a significant penalty, unless you can come up with hardship reason. There is ways to pull your money out without taking too much of a penalty. But they still want to hit you with the taxes hard. Let me catch up on your guys' comments and questions. Thank you for coming in here tonight, guys. Am I crazy for not owning any Bitcoin? I don't care to own Bitcoin at all. Nope, I don't care to own Bitcoin at all. I don't think it's crazy. Let me take a few more questions, guys. What are we working with? Let's take a look at this Bitcoin chart. So 37,100 for Bitcoin right now. And you guys saw what we did. This was on Thursday where we went all the way up to 38,000. 38,000. And as I showed you guys earlier in this episode, this is the insiders pumping Bitcoin, Ethereum. And now we see they already did Hex, by the way. I'll show you Hex here in a sec. Here's the FTT token. Just went absolutely nuts. Pumping this thing 400%. 400% pump for FTX after Gary Gensler says that the FTT or the FTX might be revived. Now, let me zoom out on the Hex chart. I'll show you what we saw on this. Hex already got pumped 330%. Okay. And that was another one. And this space, I'm telling you right now, you see crap like this pumping, that doesn't get me excited. It gets me worried. It gets me concerned. When I see Hex getting pumped 330%, when I see FTX getting pumped 400%, sorry, it's the FTT token, but it's supposed to represent FTX. That's not comforting. And then I see that BlackRock wants to get all of the crypto bros excited. Meanwhile, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink uses that hype to sell off 15,000 of his shares. That's how the game's played. You talk your book. You bring in all the dumb money. You get all the crypto bros triggered. And now it's easier than ever, guys. You see, this is what's so interesting. Is back in the day, someone like a Larry Fink, a CEO of the biggest hedge fund in the United States, 9 trillion assets under management. It's down a little bit from the 10 trillion he used to have. 9 trillion now. A guy like this used to have to go on a mainstream news show and he would do an interview and he could, talk his book and kind of do what they do now, right? And then that would have to get broadcasted out. And maybe if it went, and it got seen by a lot of people, it might see a few million people, right? How many of those million people are actually traders, actually making moves, this and that, right? And so the effect of that wasn't as powerful as now, where these guys can just put out one tweet and manipulate the market. And so you've seen it here time and time again. These guys, the manipulation machine kind of behind these exchanges and these projects, they made each other go, basically they broke FTX because they were all trading against each other with all of their manipulation. They're all running their own Ponzi scheme, and they've gone through a lot of effort to, put these things offshore in different jurisdictions to evade this and that. And they've put together really elaborate schemes, but they were trading against each other. And you've seen this with CZ and Sam Bankman-Fried. They were going head to head, and Binance CZ, he was able to, make FTX go bust. And they successfully killed off Sam Bankman-Fried. And so that's part of the carnage from this game of manipulation that we're in the middle of. And you get a lot of folks that want to, come into the crypto space and they want to make some quick money. And so they come in right now and they see that the cryptos have already pumped. And, every single day they can look on a Coinbase exchange app or any other exchange. And what's that exchange going to do? It's going to give them incentives to put their money on, and it's going to tell them that some crap token pumped 300% today. Every single day across the top movers, and they're sharing just crap. And so the retail investor that's pulling up with $500 is thinking, well, I can turn my $500 into $5,000 if I just invest in this FTT token that, just pumped 400% in about a day. I can put my money in Hex, which pumped 300% in about a week and a half. I can put my money in a Bitcoin, which pumped 144% since November lows last year. In 1 year, it's gone up 144%. Oh, I heard about this Bitcoin thing. Oh, okay, so the right thing to do is to invest everything into Bitcoin, and then I can gamble a little bit with some memes. So let me go buy FTT, let me go buy Hex, let me go buy SafeMoon. And the space still hasn't matured, still hasn't learned a lesson. And the thing about it is that, as I pointed out with Gary Gensler, he wants to be the chief of full disclosures, even though all of these operations, all of these Ponzi schemes blew up under his watch, directly under his watch. The master market maker magicians went to his offices and met him. Sam Bankman-Fried, both sides of the aisle, buddy, happy slappy with the gang, got accepted into the club. Now, Sam Bankman-Fried must not have understood what was entailed in that contract of being the chosen laundering scheme of the cabal. He didn't understand what that deal with the devil actually meant when he gave up his soul. Of course, I'm speaking metaphorically. And then they came back for the harvest. And boy, did they take it out. and it's just unbelievable that we literally have Gary Gensler here today, says that FTX might be revived, and that pumps the coin over 100% in the day, and it's gone up about 400% in the last 48 hours. We don't learn, do we? We don't learn. But if memes, if pumps get people in, that's great. What I do, all I can do is control my content and my message. And my content and my message is very hype. It's funny because I'm criticized for being too hype about XRP. I'm a XRP moon boy. Yet I'm the one here calling out all this crap with all this manipulation, right? And so I've always kept my message has always been the same. I don't accept checks from any of these companies that want me to show their crypto projects. I don't have any sponsors that are crypto companies. I've never done one paid sponsorship, period. And I've never had to, never will, and I don't have to play this game with them. And what's real, I will talk about for free, because I want you guys to win alongside with me. I want to drop, as the kids would say, the alpha on a daily basis. Now, the big thing about finding alpha in this market that's over and infatuated with itself and so full and so high on its own supply of hopium and crap that you're looking over 99 projects to get to the one investment. You're looking over 90% of investment opportunities to get to the one opportunity that's actually worth your money. And you might even have to look through more. I mean, there's tens of thousands of crypto tokens, and I only hold about maybe 3, 4, maybe 5. I guess I have a few main positions, and then I have some other crap that I got in my bag, some casino coin. Sometimes I forget that I have a little bit of casino coin, you know. And for me, we've tried to cut through the BS, we've tried to cut through the hopium, but we are not afraid to get excited when we talk about solving real problems, trillion-dollar problems. And I don't see anything that stopped that progress, that trajectory of Ripple putting a dent in the universe and making XRP a world reserve digital currency. Seems to me like they're well on their way. Seems to me like they're doubling down on what got them there. Seems to me like they're about to unveil more and more partnerships after they've gotten the SEC out of their way. As I was saying on the show yesterday, this veil just keeps on getting lifted every single day. With every new partnership that gets announced, you're seeing that veil get lifted and what's been happening behind the scenes. As I was saying earlier, we can't even really track true demand for XRP because Ripple's been selling to institutions, but we don't know how much, what for, and how many institutions are interested. So we have no idea how many of these institutions have collected some XRP behind the scenes. And if the biggest banks and institutions were already running proof of concepts with Ripple back in, early 2015, why would they not have picked up some? Is that how they roll? Right? They're going to announce for the world to see that we're running a proof of concept, and you don't think that they've taken the opportunity to already pick up some of that asset behind the scenes? I mean, come on. This is how the whole game is played. So when BlackRock CEO Larry Fink is telling us that cryptocurrencies are about to transcend traditional currencies, that's when they're getting ready to short and offload and dump on you. And that's what I think is happening right now. The insiders are pumping the space. They pumped FTT. They pumped Solana went up today. Solana went crazy today. And this is all insiders pumping it too. Let me pull it up. Sure enough. Sure enough, here you go. Solana back up to 54. You know, and you look at this thing just in the last little bit here. Let me delete that one. Just off these lows right here, back up here about 40%, right? And it's up even more if you look at where we were at just last month in October. Solana getting pumped again. This is red flags for me. This is reason to worry. Solana is hot trash. Exactly, MetaMan. You know. Look at Stuart coming in with the 111. Stuart, you're a real one, brother. I appreciate your support so much. Everything is on track. They have had it in place for decades. And that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. Because they understand how quickly the news moves market these days. That's why they know. BlackRock knew. They're thinking to themselves, okay, so we're gonna file this trust in Delaware, an Ethereum trust, and that news is going to hit right before the news that we've filed for an application for our spot ETF. And off of this news, it's going to pump Ethereum up significantly. At this point, let's get ready to short. Let's get ready to wreck the crypto bros. They're so easy to sucker in. And this is what I believe that what we're in the middle of right now. It's not sexy. It's not popular. It doesn't make us feel good unless you want the truth, unless you can handle the truth. That's the problem. Most people can't handle the truth. They want a feel-good story. They want a bedtime story. You know, they want to pull up with an adult beverage and have a good time, which I want to do too, but we got to keep it real too. Do we have a bunch of trolls in the chat right now? I feel like I see some trolls. Speaking of hot trash, MetaMan, do we have some trolls in the chat? All right, guys, I gotta head to bed. It's been a pleasure here tonight. Like I said, we got our weekly call with the Discord group tomorrow morning. Get tapped in by going to my website, zachrector.com. You sign up to Patreon to get access to Discord. We would love to have you in the family of like-minded individuals. We're hanging together, sticking together, and riding out the storm by investing together too every single week. We do it at Saturday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we're gonna have another call tomorrow morning. And then I'm also looking to drop my tactical wealth lesson number 2. If you missed tactical wealth lesson number 1, it was on trust. A lot of people asking about trust. Do I need to be a billionaire? Do I need to have a castle? No, you don't. With just a few assets, you might want to consider putting it into a trust if you want to be able to protect it and pass it on down to the children. And the good thing about the trust is you can give it on to the child that you like. So if you got one you don't like, and you got one you do, I'm joking. It's my bedtime. I hope you guys had fun here tonight. Let's get back after it tomorrow. We got more content coming your way. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit that notification bell. If you can do me a favor, I love you. And I will see you guys in the next one. God bless you all.